we brought up Elon and, patriots doing something now.
Yes.
And trying to defend democracy now before it's too late. Clip number 6, Humberto. This is where Trump and Elon are talking about immigration, and they get to the point where both of them agree that they don't believe that the United States can last another 4 years of a Kamala Harris administration. Could you play clip number 6?
And I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide border security. Where has she been for 3.5 years? For 3.5 years.
Yeah, no.
We have 20 million people for it. It's a terrible.
Yeah, I think this, frankly, I think this is a fundamental existential issue for the United States.
It is.
And if we have another 4 more years of open borders, and it's going to be even worse with another 4 more years, it's going to be even worse than it's been for the past, 3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country.
You don't have a country left. Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world. Not South America only. We think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico, the 4. But it's not that. It's everywhere. They're coming in from everywhere. And I had to stay in Mexico.
Yeah, I think this is a super important point. Like people, it's like basically when I went down there, I was like, well, where are people from? It's like almost no one was from Mexico.
No, Mexico less.
It's just the border. It's just the border with Mexico. But the people coming in, it's Earth, the rest of Earth, and America is only about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything in the US.
We're already overwhelmed, Elon. We're overwhelmed.
Think about who is saying that. An immigrant to the United States, Elon Musk, who was not born in this country, born in South Africa, immigrated here, created industries of work for massive amounts of American citizens, is saying illegal immigration is the biggest threat to the United States, and if we don't do something about this now, in 4 years from now, we will not have a country. So when you go, why is Elon doing this? Why is Elon even entertaining this phone call? I really believe it's because he thinks this is the biggest and most important election of our lifetimes, because if this doesn't go the right way, and it goes the wrong way, it's end of democracy, not just in the United States. The United States is the beacon of light of democracy for the entire world. It's the end of democracy worldwide if we do not win this election.
But abortions, Rob.
Yeah. Trump should just come on like, hey, ladies, kill as many babies as you want. But
that's great, your whole democracy thing. I slept with an asshole last night. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Abortions.
Well, isn't
2024.
Isn't that crazy? And
that's their campaign.
And by the way, you were talking about those middle
literally
people.
Their campaign.
And you nailed, those middle people that you're talking about that'll swing the election. That's what's going to make it go towards her.
It's already
women that are like, we want to. And by the way, it's women that aren't having sex with anybody. Period. Orange hair psychos that are like, hey, we want abortions. Nobody's hooking up with you.
I think
that's the ironic part.
It's not women or men. It's uneducated people. Because my wife is for a woman's right to choose. She is. That being said, she cannot continue to put our family at risk by having another 4 years of having open borders in this country, inflation through the roof, a fentanyl crisis coming in through the southern border. Yeah. So my wife is a lifelong Democrat who's going, I am voting for Trump in 2024. Does she think that women should be able to have the right to get an abortion under certain circumstances? Yeah. Absolutely. But she paid attention to the issues. I think any reasonable person looks at the two candidates and goes, well, one hasn't spoken to anybody. The other is addressing every single issue that I have. Which way am I going to vote? At least the guy who's addressing the problems, not the person running from them.
Respect to your wife. You're giving the voters way too much credit.
I know.
Most people, Pat has came up with an idea where it's sort of like a tiered voting system where the more you contribute to society, the more jobs you create, the more involved you are, the more votes you should have as a person. And the less you contribute, you might get 0 votes.
Yeah.
The reality is that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
The Elon Musk of the world gets 1 vote. The dumb, woke, ideological leftist also gets 1 vote.
Yep.
And you have a math problem. There's going to be so many people out there that aren't even like hardcore this, hardcore that. They're just like, yeah, I heard that Trump is going to take away the abortion, and I'm out on that. Kamala.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but what about inflation? What about the border? What about crime? What about abortion?
You
and there's a lot of girls that think like that.
That's Adam's making a very good point. people are so distracted and not paying attention. It doesn't take much to pay attention. The fentanyl overdose crisis is actually worse now than it was last year, but it's dropped to number 4 among people who feel that they are news connected. In other words, when you do a survey of Americans, say, do you pay attention to the news and what things are important for society right now? And you get this: the election, the economy, immigration, fentanyl. Fentanyl has suddenly dropped to number 4.
Yeah.
Something so horrible like fentanyl.
Hundreds of thousands
But look
of
at what they're
Americans.
saying. Well, the election is incredibly important. We have to get this right so the right people will be leading us. And then our economy is in a shambles and people are suffering and they've run up credit card bills and they can't afford to buy food the way they used to. So that's number 2. Then immigration, all these people are coming across. And I have a friend who's in Arizona and she sees immigration live in her front yard. I sit here in Missouri and I just debate my friend on it because it's not in my front yard. But my friend in Arizona says immigration is in her front yard, sleeping in the alley behind her house, and was right by the ATM, so she didn't go to the ATM because there's a couple weird guys there. And so now in number 4 is fentanyl. That is what people who regard themselves to be news connected. So take a look at the overall crisis. And number 1, we have a crisis of leadership that we need to solve. Step 1 with this election.
Yeah, and by the way, we only have a couple minutes left. But in regard to Tom, when we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, how many Japanese died when we dropped the bomb?
I don't remember how many,
Like,
but there was 2 sets. People that were killed by the immediate explosion. I say 3 sets.
Okay.
People that were killed because of injuries they suffered.
Yes.
Over the.
I'm saying the initial, Tommy. The initial boom.
And then
bomb.
lastly, the long-term cancers.
No, I'm saying the initial boom explosion.
I don't want to say a number be wrong. I
Rob, where we at? 200,000? 200?
I'm looking right now. Hiroshima death toll killed between 90,000 and 166,000 people, and then Nagasaki killed between 60 and 80,000.
Okay, guess what? From 2019 to 2022, guess what the estimate of fentanyl deaths, Americans dying in this country
3
from
years,
fentanyl, over 250. Think about that. In 4 years,
250 what?
250,000 Americans,
gotcha.
give or take, probably more, have died because of this fentanyl. That's more than Hiroshima. That's more than Nagasaki.
Together.
And that's not number 4, Tommy.
I remember during COVID, they used to compare how many people died during COVID to 9/11. Today is 10 9/11s dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 250,000 people. How many 9/11s that? 2,977,000 or
100.
2,977 people died on 9/11. This is 10, 20 times the amount of that, and we have done nothing to address it. Meanwhile, we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan looking for Osama bin Laden and the head of the Taliban. So we'll do that for 3,000 people, but 250,000 people that are
back off.
Can I make a suggestion?
You're all correct. Yeah. But the point is, a news-informed person has got fentanyl at number 4, and you're just making the point that there's such importance to the election and having a working economy.
What's the number 1,
Tom? Immigration.
Election, economy, immigration, fentanyl.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, fentanyl. I mean, the
like
border,
we need
but the border.
leadership.
Yeah.
And if there's no working economy, you don't have much of a country. And immigration is now.
I'm going to make one point.
Yeah.
And because I feel like we're all pretty much agreeing on the overall concepts. We might have some disagreements on the audio-visual technicalities, but what can be done out there? You're talking about being informed. You're talking about, we got to go with this. To me, it's pretty damn simple. Us men overwhelmingly are going to vote for Trump, percentage-wise.
Of course.
Women overwhelmingly
are going
to vote for Kamala.
Yeah.
Like Rob's wife, he just said, is a Democrat he's convinced her.
And objective polling in Georgia and Arizona makes exactly your point
so
right now.
The conversations that need to happen, this is great. I love this. Us boys talking to each other, we're just, Trump, get out there, Trump. Unless we're communicating with women, and I don't know if you've noticed this, women tend to be quite emotional. Unless we say, hey, listen, ladies,
sit this one out.
No. What's really important to you?
Sure.
Is your family important? Is kids important? Is the border? Is inflation? Is abortion?
You can't break
really
them. You can't break they're so gone because the messaging, the psyop is so real. It's Hitler. He wants to come in your womb. He wants to take.
But the point is, you don't need to convince 1 million. You need to convince 1,000 here, 1,000 in Wisconsin, 1,000 in Atlanta.
12,001 in
like,
Georgia.
well,
That's
find me
the margin of
11,000.
Guess what?
victory.
Their husbands need to talk to
So
them and
that's
say,
my-
hey, well,
that's my
wife,
point.
wake the F up.
No, like,
because
Vinny,
look at the.
Vinny,
What do you mean?
No,
What do
I've
you
been
mean?
married and now I'm divorced because I spoke to my wife like that.
Well, sure,
you need to say, listen, honey, like, can we discuss really what's important to you? What do you think? What do you see the future of our country? Having conversations like that with the females in your life, whether they're your friends, whether they're your wife, whether it's your mom. Like, my mom cannot stand Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And if I'm like, Mom, you're an idiot, and she's getting like, don't talk to me. I'm like, Mom, you see what's going on with inflation. You see what's going on. Why wouldn't you maybe reconsider? My mom, for the first time in her life, is thinking about voting for Donald Trump because the way I position it. So my challenge to all the guys out there, because I assume there's a lot of guys watching, is have nice, respectful, informative, educational conversations with women with empathy to say, listen, this is what I'm thinking. This is what you're thinking. Because women, whether you like it or not, they're thinking, they're taking away my rights. No, they're really not.
Yeah.
But the whole country might not be here.
Yeah.
So you might be in a globalized, socialist, Marxist country where you can get your abortions, ladies. Good luck with that.
Well,
Yeah.
ask them what future they want. I think it's very simple.
Yeah.
Ask them, average person, what kind of future do you want? Well, I want to have abortion. Okay, what else? And go right past
Exactly.
it.
And
What kind of future do you want? Because you can go to Ukraine now, and abortions are way down in Ukraine 3 years in a row. You want to know why?
Because they're not having sex as all the men are dead.
Correct. So what do you want to
Yeah.
wait for? Do you want to wait for when you lose liberty and freedom and you're overrun? And that
Exactly.
is not a crazy statement.
I think, by the way, just to solve that whole abortion, because we're down with our 1.6, we're not having any babies. You want to have an abortion? You have to at least give us one kid, and then you can have one abortion. What's up, everybody? Vincent O'Shaughnessy here. If you want to see me and the entire Valuetainment crew, we will be at the Vault Conference September 4th through the 7th at the Palm Beach Convention Center, hosted by none other than Patrick Bet-David and featuring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Guys, this is the place to be. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to level up, do not miss this opportunity. This is the best place to network. If you want tickets, go to thevaultconference.com. Do not waste time. This thing is going to sell out, and I will see you guys there. Peace and love. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.